The desperate call. The stars looked calm. Space looked silent. But far beyond the edge of human vision, something dangerous was moving. A massive alien fleet drifted through the darkness. These ships were not small. Each one was larger than a human city. Dark metal covered their bodies. Blue lights pulsed slowly across their surfaces. They moved without sound like shadows in space. This was the Zyra Dominion, a powerful empire. They had conquered hundreds of planets. They had destroyed civilizations that once believed they were strong. And they had only one rule: never invade an unknown primitive planet without full analysis. This rule had saved them many times. But today, things were different. Inside the command ship, Commander Kraxel stood near a giant viewing screen. His tall figure was covered in dark armor. His eyes glowed faintly blue. In front of him, a small blue planet rotated slowly. Earth. "It looks weak," Kraxel said. A group of alien scientists stood behind him. They looked nervous. One of them stepped forward. "Commander, our scans are incomplete." Kraxel did not turn. "What do you mean incomplete?" "We are receiving mixed signals. Some are old, very old, but some signals, they do not match human technology." Kraxel smiled slightly. "Primitive species often create noise. It means nothing." Another scientist spoke, this time more carefully. "Commander, there is also a repeating transmission." Kraxel finally turned. "Play it." The room went silent. A strange sound filled the air. Static, broken signals, then a voice. A human voice. Slow. Calm. "You were warned." The message repeated again. "You were warned." Silence filled the room. Kraxel stared at the scientists. "Is this a threat?" "No, we don't think so," one replied. "It feels more like a message." "From who?" Kraxel asked. "We don't know." Kraxel turned back to Earth. "A weak planet sending warnings?" he said. "That is almost funny." But deep inside, something felt wrong. He ignored it. "Prepare invasion formation," Kraxel ordered. The scientists hesitated. "Commander, we should follow the rule." Kraxel's voice became cold. "I make the rules here." No one spoke again. Outside, the fleet slowly changed position. Ships spread out across Earth's orbit. Weapons powered up. Energy built quietly. The invasion had begun. On Earth, everything looked normal. Cities were alive. Cars moved. People talked, laughed, and lived their lives. But deep underground, something else was happening. In a hidden facility, far below the surface, a group of people sat around a large table. No flags, no names, no signs, just silence. A man in a black suit looked at the screen in front of him. "They are here," he said. No one looked surprised. A woman beside him nodded. Signal confirmed. Multiple ships in orbit. Another person spoke. So it finally happened. The man in the black suit leaned forward. "Activate observation protocol." "Not defense?" someone asked. He shook his head. "Not yet." Back in space, the Zyra fleet moved closer. Everything was ready. But then something strange happened. One of the smaller ships suddenly stopped. Its lights flickered. Inside, alarms started to sound. System failure. Navigation offline. Power dropping. The crew panicked. "What is happening?" "We don't know." The ship's systems shut down one by one. Then it disappeared. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Just gone. On the command ship, chaos spread. "Commander, we lost Ship 47. Kraxel stepped forward. "Explain." "There was no attack, no impact. It just vanished." Kraxel's eyes narrowed. "Scan the area." "We already did. Nothing is there." Silence returned, this time heavier. "Bring up the transmission again," Kraxel said. The human voice played once more. "You were warned." On Earth, deep underground, the same group watched everything. A new screen turned on. One word appeared. "Contact." The man in the black suit looked at it. They triggered it. He said quietly. The woman beside him took a deep breath. "So it begins." Back in space, more problems appeared. Another ship lost control. Then another. Systems failed. Weapons shut down. No visible enemy. No clear attack. Only silence and fear. Craxel felt it now. Something was very wrong. This is not possible, he said. One of the scientists stepped forward again. Commander! This is why we have the rule. Craxel did not respond. He kept watching Earth. That small blue planet. So quiet. So still. But now it felt different. Not weak. Not simple. Watching. Waiting. Suddenly, all screens on the command ship changed. A new signal appeared. Clear. Strong. Human origin. The same voice spoke again. But this time, it was different. Stronger. You should have listened. Craxel's hands tightened. Trace the signal, he shouted. We can't, the crew replied. It is everywhere. The voice continued. This is your final warning. Craxel stepped forward. We do not fear you, he said. No response came. Only silence. On Earth, the underground facility grew tense. Signal phase 2 detected, someone reported. The man in the black suit nodded slowly. Prepare response. Full activation? The woman asked. He paused, then answered. Yes. In space, the Zyra fleet held position, but fear had spread. Even the strongest soldiers felt it. They had conquered worlds, but never like this. Never without an enemy. Never without control. Craxel stood alone, looking at Earth. He remembered the rule. For the first time, he wondered if he made a mistake. Then it happened. A massive energy wave spread across space. It moved fast, silent, invisible. Every ship felt it. Systems froze. Time seemed to slow down. And then another ship vanished. Then another. No explosion. No sound. Just gone. The crew panicked. We need to retreat. Jump systems not responding. We are trapped. Craxel shouted. Hold your positions. But no one listened. Fear had taken over. On Earth, the underground room was silent again. All eyes on the screens. One by one, alien ships disappeared. The man in the black suit spoke softly. They crossed a line. In space, the Zyra Dominion was no longer hunting. They were the ones being hunted. Craxel stared at the last remaining ships. His empire, his fleet, disappearing. Without a fight. Without a chance. The human voice returned one final time. Cold. Calm. You were warned. Craxel whispered to himself. What is this place? But deep inside, he already knew the answer. This was not just a planet. This was something else. Something waiting. Something ancient. And far below Earth's surface. Hidden systems fully awakened. Silent guardians came online, watching the stars, waiting for the next mistake. Because the truth was simple. Earth was never unprotected. It was prepared. And the Zyra Dominion had just broken the only rule that mattered. Part 2, the silent defense. Space was no longer calm. The Zyra Dominion fleet, once perfect and unstoppable, now looked broken. Ships were drifting. Lights were flickering. Commands were not working. Nothing made sense anymore. Commander Craxel stood in silence. His eyes were fixed on the blue planet below. Earth. It still looked peaceful. Too peaceful. Status report, Craxel said slowly. A crew member answered with shaking voice. We have lost 32 ships. No sign of debris. No signal. Nothing. Another added, jump engines are not responding. Weapons are offline. Commander, we are stuck. Craxel clenched his fist. This is impossible. But deep inside, he knew it was not impossible. It was planned, far below Earth's surface. The hidden facility was alive with activity. Lights flashed. Screens updated every second. The same group sat around the table, calm but focused. A young operator spoke. Enemy fleet destabilized. Phase 1 successful. The woman nodded. Continue observation. Do not rush. The man in the black suit leaned back. They expected chaos, he said quietly. But we gave them silence. Back in space, something new appeared. A faint signal. Not from the alien ships. Not from Earth's normal systems. Something else. Commander, we are detecting a structure, one of the scientists said. Craxel turned sharply. Where? The screen zoomed out. There, just beyond the moon, something was forming. At first, it looked like empty space. Then slowly, shapes appeared. Lines of light. Perfect geometry. A massive structure, hidden now revealing itself. Kraxel stepped forward. What is that? No one answered, because no one knew. On Earth, alarms echoed to the underground facility. Outer system activation confirmed. Lunar shield is online. The woman looked at the main screen. It woke up faster than expected. The man in the black suit gave a small nod. They forced it. In space, the structure grew brighter. It was enormous, larger than any Zyra ship. It surrounded the area near the moon like a silent guardian. Then it moved, not fast, not aggressive, but controlled, precise, like it had done this before. Kraxel felt something he had not felt in a long time. Fear. Scan it, he ordered. We can't fully read it, a scientist replied. It's not like any technology we know. Another whispered, Commander, this is not human. Kraxel stayed silent, because he was thinking the same thing. Suddenly, one of the alien ships fired. A panicked reaction. A beam of energy shot toward the structure. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the beam disappeared. Not blocked, not reflected, just gone, like it never existed. Do not fire, Kraxel shouted. But it was too late. The structure reacted. A soft pulse spread out from it. Calm, quiet, deadly. One alien ship froze, then vanished. Another ship tried to escape. It vanished too. No explosion, no sound, only absence. On Earth, the observers watched carefully. No direct attack, the young operator said. Only removal. The woman crossed her arms. It is not fighting them. It is correcting them, the man in the black suit replied. Back in space, panic spread across the Zyra fleet. We are under attack. This is not war, this is something else. Commander, we need to retreat now. Kraxel raised his hand. Silence. The room froze. He took a deep breath, then spoke slowly. This is not a battle we understand. No one argued, because it was true. The mysterious structure continued to move. It did not rush. It did not miss. Every action was perfect. Every movement had purpose. And every time it acted, another ship disappeared. Kraxel looked at Earth again. That small blue world. He remembered what the scientist said. Signals. Warnings. Hidden data. This was never a simple planet, he whispered. Far below, inside the underground facility, a new file opened. Old records. Very old. The woman read from the screen. Recovered object, unknown origin, discovered decades ago. Another line appeared. Message translation. Protected zone. The room went quiet. Back in space. Only a few Zyra ships remained. The once great fleet was almost gone. Kraxel felt the weight of his decision. He had ignored the rule. And now, this was a result. Commander, one of the scientists said carefully, we found something in the old human signals. Kraxel looked at him. What is it? The scientist hesitated. Other fleets, other empires, they came here before us. Kraxel's eyes widened slightly. And they never left. Silence filled the room. Heavy, cold. The human voice returned once more. Clear, stronger than ever. You are still here. Kraxel stepped closer to the screen. Who are you? He asked. For the first time, the voice answered differently. We are the ones who stayed. Kraxel did not understand, but he knew one thing. This was not a warning anymore. This was judgment. The structure near the moon began to glow brighter. Energy built up around it. Not chaotic, not wild, controlled, focused. On Earth, the man in the black suit stood up. Phase 2, he said. The woman looked at him. This will finish it. He nodded. Yes. In space, the last Zyra ships tried everything. Emergency power, manual controls, blind jumps. Nothing worked. They were trapped. Kraxel looked at his crew. Fear was in every face. For the first time, the conquerors were helpless. He spoke quietly. We leave. But, Commander, someone started. We leave now, Craxel repeated. But it was already too late. The structure released another pulse, stronger than before. It moved across space like a silent wave, and when it touched the ships, they vanished, one by one, until only the command ship remained. Craxel stood alone, looking at Earth. He understood now. They were never invited. They were never welcome. The voice came again. Final. Cold. You broke the rule. Craxel closed his eyes for a moment. Then he said softly, Yes, we did. The structure moved one last time. Energy gathered. Silence spread. And then everything stopped. Back on Earth, the screens went dark. No ships remained. No signals. Nothing. The young operator whispered, Is it over? The woman answered quietly, For now. The man in the black suit looked at the main screen, at the blue planet, at the empty space around it. They will come again, he said. Others will try. He paused, then added, And we will be ready. Far above, the massive structure slowly faded, returning to silence, returning to hiding, like it was never there. Because Earth did not need to show its power. It only needed to remind. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, a message began to spread. From one empire to another, from one galaxy to the next. A warning. Simple, clear, final. Do not touch Earth. The war they never saw. The message spread faster than light, across empty space, through hidden channels, between silent watchers of the universe. Do not touch Earth. Many heard it, most ignored it, because power always brings pride, and pride blinds even the strongest. Far away from Earth, in a distant star system, another fleet was already moving. This one was different, more advanced, more careful. They were known as the Virex Collective. They did not rush into war. They studied, they learned, and they had received a warning. Inside their command ship, a tall figure stood in front of a floating display. Hi, Commander Sereth. Cold, calm, intelligent. Repeat the message, Sereth ordered. A soft voice echoed in the room. Do not touch Earth. Sereth's eyes narrowed slightly. Who sent it? No confirmed origin, an officer replied. But it matches fragments from destroyed Zyra transmissions. Sereth turned slowly. And the Zyra Dominion? Gone. Completely? Yes. Silence filled the room. But unlike Craxel, Sereth did not feel fear. He felt curiosity. Set course for Earth, Sereth said. The officers hesitated. Commander, the warning is exactly why we go, Sereth interrupted. He stepped closer to the screen. If something can erase the Zyra Dominion without a trace, we must understand it. And if it destroys us too? One officer asked. Sereth gave a faint smile. Then we will learn, even in our final moment. Back on Earth, the underground facility was quiet again. Too quiet. The systems were stable. The threat was gone. But no one felt relaxed, because they knew it never truly ends. A soft alert sound broke the silence. New signal detected. The young operator looked at the screen. Unknown origin, but strong, very strong. The woman stepped forward. Show it. The display zoomed out. Far beyond the solar system, something was coming. Another fleet, larger than the last one. More organized, more controlled. The man in the black suit watched carefully. They didn't listen, he said. No, the woman replied. They never do. Back in space, the Virex fleet slowed as it approached the outer edge of the solar system. They did not rush in. They did not attack. They observed. Scanning all frequencies, an officer reported. Results. Strange. We are detecting layered signals. Some are human. Some are not. Sereth leaned forward. Explain. It's like multiple systems are running at the same time, hidden under each other. Sereth's expression became serious. A planet with layers of defense. Another officer spoke. We also found something else. What? Old data, traces of destroyed fleets, including Zyra. Sereth paused, then asked quietly, And the cause? The officer hesitated. Unknown. Sarah stared at the distant blue planet. Earth. So the stories are true, he whispered. On Earth, deep underground, preparations had already started. Second contact confirmed. The operator said. The woman looked at the man in the black suit. Same response. He shook his head slowly. No. She looked surprised. No. This time we do it differently. Back in space, the Virex fleet moved closer. Still careful. Still silent. Commander, an officer said, we are receiving a transmission. Seraph looked up. Play it. The familiar voice filled the room. Calm. Human, you have reached a protected system. Seraph listened carefully. This is different, he said. More direct. The voice continued. Leave now. This is your only warning. The officers waited for Sarath's command. He thought for a moment, then spoke. Sent a reply. On Earth, the underground facility froze. They are responding, the operator said. The woman looked at the screen. Put it through. A new voice echoed in the room. Cold. Controlled. This is the Virex Collective. We do not come for war. We come for knowledge. Silence followed. The man in the black suit crossed his arms. They always say that. Back in space, Sarath waited. Then a response came. Short, clear, knowledge is a cost. Sarath smiled slightly. We are willing to pay. On Earth, the room became tense. The woman looked at the man. This could be different. He shook his head. Or it could be worse. For the first time, something unusual happened. The hidden structure near the moon did not activate immediately. It waited. Sarath noticed. They are hesitating, he said. Commander? An officer asked. They are thinking, Sarath replied. That means they are not just a defense system. Suddenly, a new signal appeared. Not from Earth. Not from the Virex fleet. Something older, deeper, stronger. On every screen, a symbol appeared. Unknown. Ancient. Back on Earth. Alarms exploded through the facility. New system activation. This signal is not ours. The woman stepped back. What is happening? The man in the black suit looked at the screen, and for the first time, he looked unsure. In space, Sarath watched as the symbol grew brighter. Commander, we cannot read it, an officer said. Sarath whispered, maybe we are not meant to. Then the voice returned. But this time, it was not human. It was deeper, older, powerful, observation complete. Every system froze. Every ship stopped. Even the hidden Earth defenses paused. Judgment initiated. Sarath felt it. Not fear. Not panic. Something heavier. Like standing in front of something far beyond understanding. On Earth, the entire facility went silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The woman whispered, this was never just us. The man in the black suit nodded slowly. No, we were only part of it. In space, the Virex fleet stood still. No escape. No control. Sarath closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. Calm. Accepting. So, this is the truth, he said softly. The ancient voice spoke again. Final. Absolute. You were observed. You were measured. A pause. You are not worthy. The light from the symbol expanded. Not fast. Not slow. Just certain. One by one, the Virex ships disappeared. No explosion. No sound. No war. Just removal. Sarah stood alone on the command deck, watching the end. For the first time, he smiled. Now, we understand, he whispered. And then, he was gone. Back on Earth, all systems returned. The symbol disappeared. The silence returned. The young operator looked around. What was that? The woman did not answer. The man in the black suit looked at the empty screen, at the quiet stars, at the safe planet, and he said only one thing. We are not alone, even in protecting this world. Far above, the hidden structure faded again, waiting, watching, because Earth was not just defended, it was judged. And the war? It was never meant to be fought. It was only meant to end. The truth they feared. The stars were quiet again. No ships. No signals. No enemies. Only silence. Deep and endless. From a distance, Earth looked the same as always. Blue oceans. White clouds. A peaceful world. But nothing was the same anymore. Deep underground, the hidden facility remained active. The people inside did not celebrate. They did not relax, because they had seen something far beyond anything they expected. The young operator broke the silence. 2 fleets gone without a fight. His voice was low, almost afraid. The woman stood still, looking at the dark screen. It wasn't a fight, she said softly. It was a decision. The man in the black suit stepped forward. They were judged, he added. No one argued, because they all felt it. Whatever protected Earth, it was not just a weapon. It was something older, something watching, something choosing. Bring up the archive. The man ordered. A large screen lit up. Old files appeared. Hidden records. Classified data. Forgotten history. Everything started with the first contact, the woman said. The screen showed an image. A broken alien ship, half buried in ice. Recovered many years ago. Humans found it, she continued. They studied it, learned from it. Another image appeared. Strange symbols inside the ship. The same symbol that had appeared in space. But we were not the first, the man said quietly. The room went silent again. The young operator looked confused. What do you mean? The man pointed at the screen. Another file opened, older than the first, much older. Before that crash, before human technology advanced, he said slowly, something else was already here. A deep structure appeared on the screen, buried far beneath Earth's crust. Not human, not recent, ancient, the woman whispered. This planet was never empty. Back in space, far beyond human sight, something moved again. Not a fleet, not a ship. Something smaller, hidden, watching. A silent probe drifted near the edge of the solar system. It had been there for a long time, waiting, recording, learning. It had watched the Zyra Dominion. It had watched the Virus Collective. And now it sent a signal. Far, far away in the darkest part of the galaxy, someone received it. Back on Earth, the underground facility continued its search. The truth was coming together. Piece by piece, the woman looked at the ancient data. These structures, these systems, they were not built by humans. The man nodded, and not recently. The young operator stepped closer. So, who built them? No one answered, because the answer was unknown. Suddenly, alarms returned. New signal detected. The room froze. Source, the man asked. The operator checked. Then his face changed. It's not from outside. The woman looked at him. Then where? He swallowed. From inside Earth. Silence. Heavy. Unmoving. The screen lit up. Deep underground, something was active. Something massive. The same symbol appeared again. The man in the black suit stepped forward slowly. It's waking up, he said. The ground far below began to shift. Not an earthquake. Not natural. Controlled. Precise. Ancient systems activated. Lights turned on in places no human had ever seen. And then the voice returned. But not in space. Not from the stars. From Earth itself. Cycle complete. Everyone in the room froze. The woman whispered, "It's here." The voice continued. External threats removed. Observation successful. The young operator stepped back. This is not possible. The man spoke slowly. No, this is the truth. The voice paused, then said something new. Human civilization evaluated. Every screen changed. Data appeared everywhere. Human history. Wars. Peace. Growth. Destruction. Everything. The room felt smaller. Heavier. The woman looked at the man. It's judging us now. He nodded. Yes. Far away in space, the hidden probe sent another signal. Faster this time. Urgent. Something was coming. Something bigger. Back on Earth, the voice spoke again. Humans adapted. Humans survived. A pause. Humans learned. The room held its breath. And then, humans acceptable. Silence. Then relief. But only for a moment, because the voice was not finished. Guardian status confirmed. The woman stepped forward. Guardian? The man closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. We are not just protected, he said. We are part of it. The truth settled in. Slow, heavy, real. Earth was not just a safe planet. It was a chosen one. Not because humans were the strongest, not because they were the smartest, but because they survived. They learned. They endured. And now they were trusted. The voice spoke one final time. Defend this world. Protect the balance. The symbol faded. The systems went quiet. But something had changed. Forever. Far beyond the stars, the signal reached its destination. A massive fleet began to move. Not like the others. Not careless. Not curious. This one knew. Back on Earth, the underground facilities stood in silence. The young operator looked at the man. What happens now? The man in the black suit looked at the blue planet on the screen, at the peaceful surface, at the hidden truth beneath, and he said quietly, now we protect it. Above them, the stars remained still, but the universe had changed, because now Earth was not just a world, it was a warning, and humanity was no longer the prey. They were the guardians. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and support us. It really helps us grow and bring more videos like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.